après-midi et merci vous pouvez rejoindre nous pour suivre la séance de la PNQ. Patrick Hilbert, bon après-midi.
Bon après-midi Priscilla.
PNQ accède au PME suivant l'annonce budgétaire de la TVA obligatoire à partir d'un chiffre d'affaires de 3 millions de roupies. Joe Lejonga qui questionne ministre de l'Industrie, des PME et des coopératives. En effet, à partir du 1er octobre, ça l'année-là, seuil d'enregistrement obligatoire passe de 6 millions à 3 millions de roupies de chiffre d'affaires annuel. Mesure qui fut annoncée par le Premier ministre et le ministre des Finances Navin Ramgoolam lors de la présentation du budget 2025-2026. Joe Lejonga Péoulé gagne une précision de la part d'Adil Amiamia, justement l'obligation à une entreprise qui fait un chiffre d'affaires taxable supérieur à 3 millions de roupies pour enregistrer pour la TVA. D'abord, Patrick, leader de l'opposition, ou les notamment connaît, si fin faire analyse l'impact de ça l'annonce là le secteur petite et moyenne entreprise, qui ban recette fiscale qui peut atteindre et combien l'entreprise ainsi que ban type business qui concerné par sa nouvelle obligation là. Les pays ou les aussi connaît si gouvernement fin gain ban consultation et ban réunion avec ban stakeholders, ban parties prenantes donc dans le secteur avant et après présentation budget, Patrick.
Et ça baisse du seuil d'enregistrement à la TVA de 6 millions à 3 millions de roupies, diversement commenté par ban PME. Certains entrepreneurs trouvent l'I brutal, et il y a les autres qui trouvent ça une avancée vers la structuration, l'équité fiscale. Et il y a aussi entrepreneurs qui redoutent qu'il y a une hausse de ban charge, une complexité administrative accrue et qu'une perte de compétitivité face au secteur informel. Et pour absorber ce choc-là, beaucoup pour choisir sans doute pour répercuter ça sur le client avec un risque réel de l'inflation, notamment dans les services non essentiels, Priscilla.
Alors nous vous prenons tout de suite la direction de l'Assemblée nationale pour suivre cette PNQ de Joe Lejonga adressée à ministre Adil Amiamia.
Announcements done. Speakers have been laid. Question.
Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I have given notice of the following private notice question addressed to the Honourable Minister of Industry, SMEs and Cooperatives, whether in regard to the compulsory requirement for businesses to register for value-added tax purposes upon making a turnover of taxable supplies exceeding 3 million rupees, he will state, A, if an analysis of the impact thereof on the small and medium enterprises sector has been carried out, B, the estimated revenue to be generated therefrom, C, the number and types of businesses concerned herewith, and D, whether government-held consultations and meetings with the stakeholders of the SME sector prior and after the presentation of the budget speech 2025-2026. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Honourable Minister.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I would like to thank the Honourable Leader of Opposition for this question, as it will give me the opportunity to explain the budgetary measure of reducing the compulsory VAT registration threshold of taxable supplies from 6 million to 3 million rupees. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we all know in what an unprecedented mess the previous government has left us. They have dilapidated the finances of our country. They were spending recklessly, spending on white elephant projects. This had led to a significant deterioration in the fiscal metrics of our country, with a high budget deficit of 9.8% of GDP for financial year 2024 and 25, and a mountain of debt which increased to around 90% of the GDP by end of June 2025. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, we cannot continue with this irresponsible fiscal stewardship. We need to put some order in our public finances. This government is fully committed to a responsible approach to a fiscal stewardship under the able leadership of our Prime Minister, Dr. Navin Ramgoolam. In view of the disastrous state of public finances that we inherited, our top priority is to bring down the budget deficit and public sector debt to sustainable levels and ensure medium-term macroeconomic stability, and at the same time doing our utmost best to prevent any downgrade by Moody's, which some tend to underestimate. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, regarding part A of the question, I am informed that an analysis was carried out at the level of the Ministry of Finance in collaboration with the Mauritius Revenue Authority regarding the number of persons, by persons I mean individuals and enterprises, with turnover below 6 million rupees that may be affected. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I wish to point out that VAT is levied on the supply of goods and services and not on enterprises. I would also like to clarify that only those businesses making VAT-able supplies above 3 million rupees, that is goods and services on which VAT is applicable, will have to register. Those businesses making non-VAT-able supplies are not concerned with this measure, even though their turnover exceeds 3 million rupees. For example, fresh vegetables, fruit sellers in the market, fishmongers, butchers, whatever, just name it, they are not concerned with these measures. That is, we are talking about fresh products. VAT is a tax on consumption. It is not imposed on businesses. In fact, one of the principles of VAT is that the VAT system is neutral to a VAT-registered business. By joining the VAT system, the new VAT-registered businesses will be able to recover VAT paid on inputs used, that is on raw materials, semi-finished products, as well as equipment, machinery, in the production of goods or provision of services. Presently, a non-VAT registered SME are not able to recover VAT paid on input and are therefore passing it on the VAT paid on inputs to consumers. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, let me elaborate on the advantages that an SME will benefit from being VAT registered. Firstly, as I mentioned earlier, the SME will be able to claim a credit for input tax suffered. In case an SME incurs capital expenditure, for example, on acquisition of machinery or goods vehicle, it will be even entitled to a refund of the whole amount of VAT paid, that is, whatever the amount that has been paid for the purchase of this asset. Secondly, by getting registered, the SME importing capital goods, and where the VAT exceeds 150,000 rupees, we can obtain a significant cash flow benefit by not having to pay the VAT input at customs on importation under the existing provisions of the VAT Act. But this government, in 2025 and 26 in our budget presented by the Prime Minister, this VAT threshold has been lowered to 75,000 rupees. What does this mean? For example, when importing capital goods for a value of 1 million rupees, of which 150,000 rupees of VAT, which was applicable, was not payable at customs. Now, this threshold has been lowered to 500,000 rupees. That is, when you import a goods of capital nature, VAT of 75,000 rupees is not payable at custom. That is, you don't need to pay it and claim it back to the MOI. Thirdly, VAT registration can create business opportunities for SMEs. It is a known fact that many VAT-registered persons only work with VAT-registered entities in order to be able to obtain a VAT invoice and claim input VAT in their VAT return. Hence, being VAT registered may open new doors for SMEs. And fourth, at the national level, the reduction in VAT registration threshold creates a level playing field and fair competition among operators in the same business activity. It addresses the discrimination whereby a VAT-registered business with a turnover threshold slightly higher than 6 million is charging VAT, while a business which turnover slightly lower than 6 million was not charging VAT on the same types of goods, and encourages formal record keeping and improved tax compliance. It is noted that Mauritius has one of the highest VAT threshold as a percentage per capita. What does that mean? For instance, you will be surprised to know, for much bigger economies like India, Canada, Australia, South Africa, and Kenya, the threshold is less than 3 million rupees. It is between 1 and 2.5 million rupees. Like, for example, for South Africa, it's 1 million rand. So the threshold that we have in Mauritius, as I said, compared to other countries, much bigger economies, are higher than others. Regarding Part B and Part C of the question, I am informed by the Ministry of Finance and the Mauritius Revenue Authority that the additional revenue would be approximately 1.9 billion rupees from about 6,900 business operators, as follows. For those turnover from 3 to 4 million rupees, there will be 2,775 new registrants with an estimated additional VAT of 634 million. Turnover between 4 to 5 million, there will be new entrants of 1,958 new registrants with an estimated additional VAT of 570 million. And for turnover between 5 to 6 million rupees, there will be 2,166 new registrants with an estimated additional VAT of 787 million rupees. I would like to highlight that currently there are some 8,468 businesses having an annual turnover of less than 6 million rupees has already registered themselves on a voluntary basis. So this is something not new. 8,000 businesses which were not qualified for this threshold, they have registered voluntarily, as I said earlier, due to the various benefits of VAT-registered person, as I have mentioned. Regarding the type of businesses that need to get VAT registered, it is to be noted that VAT is based on two criteria, namely whether the business is engaged in making taxable supplies, that is, sells products which are subject to VAT, and secondly, the turnover threshold. Any business in any type of activity which meets these two criteria will have to be VAT registered. As I said, there are some exclusions. So, Deputy Speaker, sir, I am also informed that the majority of the additional proceeds from lowering the VAT threshold will come from operators engaged in sectors such as trading, manufacturing, accommodation, and construction. Regarding Part D of the question, I am informed that in the context of the budget preparation 2025 and 26, the Junior Minister of Finance held consultation with various stakeholders, including SME chambers, Manufacturing Jewelers Association, Association Association of Furniture Manufacturers, and Small and Medium Enterprises Federation, and also Association of Small Contractors, Association of Leather and Leather-related Products, and SME Mauritius on the 9th of April 2025. However, given the budgetary measure concerns a tax issue, obviously this was not discussed with them. I am given to understand that this is a practice insofar as tax measures are concerned. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, since I have assumed office prior to the budget speech, I have had meetings with SME Chambers and SME Federation where I had lengthy discussions on challenges being faced by SMEs. I am in contact with the SMEs and various stakeholders, and I remain open to their suggestions and will give due consideration thereon. I have taken cognizance of the concerns by SMEs, and my ministry is working closely with the Mauritius Revenue Authority in order to come up with means and ways to simplify the implementations of this measure for the benefit of SMEs. As you are aware, the Ministry of Finance is currently preparing the finance bill, and if any adjustment would be required, it will be addressed thereto. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this reform is a calibrated and responsible measure in response to an economic emergency. It reflects our commitment to shared recovery. We are not targeting SMEs, we are empowering them to participate fully and fairly in rebuilding Mauritius.
Thank you. Honorable Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. First of all, let me thank the Honourable Minister for providing the House with this information, not only the House, but the population, because he did not intervene during the debates on the budget. Now we have more information. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, here we are talking about small businesses, small family businesses, and very often run by the wife or the husband in the family. Can the Honourable Minister confirm if this budgetary measure will constitute a burden on these small businesses who will not only have to pay taxes, but recruit professionals, for example, accountant to do their books? The Honourable Minister himself is an accountant by profession, and he knows very well what I'm talking about.
I thank the Honourable Leader of the Opposition with coming with such concern, because we have already catered. We are addressing this issue because I agree that it is an issue. The MRA, the Mauritius Revenue Authority, how do we intend to assist SME in this registration process? There will be a special SME desk that will be set up to attend queries to SME in relation to VAT registration, record bookkeeping, invoicing, submission of VAT returns. Secondly, the MRA will publish leaflets and brochure to provide detailed guidance on getting registered. Now, with the filing, a simplified VAT registration process will be introduced, and simplified recording keeping requirement will be put in place, and also businesses having thresholds between 3 to 6 million, they won't be required to file monthly tax returns, but rather quarterly tax returns.
My second question, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is to ask the Honourable Minister whether he will confirm that this measure will have a cascading effect on prices practiced by these businesses, as the additional amount that they will have to pay will be passed on to the customers.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, it is not necessarily true that there will be a cascade of increase in prices, because the SME it will be able to recover the VAT paid on inputs, that is, on raw materials and capital goods. And before we had this threshold, the input VAT that the company, the enterprise was paying when we were buying their raw materials, their input, it was already passed on through to the customer. Now they would have a mechanism to offset the input VAT against the output VAT.
Honourable Leader, opposition.
But I do not totally agree with the Honourable Minister. The SME sector, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, is the backbone of our economy, and today employs more than 50% of our workforce. Can the Honourable Minister confirm that there is a possibility that those businesses might consider downsizing their personnel?
I don't think so. I don't think so, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Why? Because you know what SMEs benefit when they are registered as SMEs with SME Mauritius. I will give you examples. And I will say frankly, I've been in Parliament since 2010. Even me, before joining the cabinet, I was not aware. I've been around the island with awareness program, and I have been ventilating all the benefits that SME Mauritius, which we have enhanced during the last budget. I will give you some example, some quick example, just to not to take the time of the House. In spite budgetary situation, when a company is converted to an SME company that is registered with SME Mauritius, provided their turnover does not exceed 30 million rupees, they are being given a tax holiday of 4 years. 4 years tax holiday. Secondly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, for an SME, the road tax for an SME, registered one, instead of being 17,500 rupees for road tax for a double cab, an SME pays 5,000 rupees. Thirdly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, SME benefits from duty-free facilities on double cab and pickup every 5 years. And also, more interesting is that no land conversion tax payable where an application is granted for the purpose of relocation, expansion, or setting up of an industrial enterprise by the holder of a registration certificate issued under the SME Act. And I can go on with investment tax credit for small businesses. I can go on with reserve contract margin of preference for SMEs, and also in the last budget, mention has been made for startups, and SMEs will be able to claim tax deductions on their investment in AI technologies up to an amount of 150,000 rupees. So there are so many advantages, so many help that government is giving through SME Mauritius so that the SME can carry on with the activities.
Honourable Leader, opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Will the Honourable Minister confirm that with this budgetary measure, some of those small business owners will try to avoid being VAT registered by not declaring their turnover above 3 million rupees, therefore creating ce qu'on appellerait une économie parallèle in the country?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, for those who does not want to declare their revenue, they don't have to wait for the threshold from 6 million to become 3 million to do it. There will still be some people who will not do it, but there are laws in the country, and MRA are fully equipped to address this issue.
With regard to those SMEs which have adopted the label Made in Maurice, will you reassure the House that such a measure will not affect those SMEs?
As I said earlier, there are I give example of fresh foods, fruit vegetables, fishmongers, fruit sellers, butchers. All these are made in Mauritius. Not at all. They are not even being, ils ne sont pas concernés par cette mesure.
Yes, Honorable Leader Bouchon.
Can I refer the Honourable Minister to paragraph 28 of the annex to the budget speech? Can the Honourable Minister inform the House of the rationale for hairdressing services to be zero rated?
Do you have an answer?
I know that the Honourable Leader of Opposition is not concerned with this measure, but I will tell him that this measure will enhance, especially women in business.
Honourable Joel.
Thank you. May I ask the Minister, is the government prepared to exempt snack vendors and other food sellers from VAT registration under the new threshold? Because now most of them will fall under that, under the new threshold of 3 million, given that in their case they have very little input VAT. You said it yourself. Most of the raw materials, the poultry, the rice, the flour, the gas, the oil is zero rated, whilst the other bulk of the expenses, the labor, the fuel, is not deductible. So that will lead inevitably to at least 15% increase in the cost of food prepared and sold by food vendors, which will affect the general public. So this will lead, unfortunately, à une augmentation du coût de la vie déjà directement impactée par ça. Et ça concerne des centaines de milliers de Mauriciens. Is he prepared to exempt those persons from this new lowered threshold?
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as I said earlier, that in what kind of economic situation we are today. It's not, on est en train de faire ça pas avec gaieté de cœur, but there's a necessity, there's an economic necessity which, unfortunately, the last government has given us as inheritance.
Honourable Leader Bouchon.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, thank you. In the same vein, this is the second time I'm asking this question. With regard to the small pleasure craft operators which have been forced through this budget to become VAT registered, may I ask the Honourable Minister how he reconciles this very unfair decision towards that category of entrepreneur, while at the same time encouraging Mauritians to become entrepreneurs. And we know that this measure will affect the tourism sector, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, there's not only this sector. We can argue that there will be this sector, that sector. You just can't pinpoint one sector. But as I said earlier, it's a decision of government which we had to take with difficulty, but we know that there was no choice for us because we could have done one thing. We increased the base so as to have more revenue, but we could have increased VAT. Then all these what you are saying would have been exempted. But we had a choice to make. And we all know increased VAT, it's a tax on the poor. Because everyone, tout le monde va être frappé. So we had a choice to make, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
Thank you. Some more questions? Thank you. So we go.
Bouchon.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move that all the business.
Et voilà donc pour cette PNQ de Joe Lejonga, accès l'urban PME suivant l'annonce budgétaire de la TVA obligatoire à partir d'un chiffre d'affaires de 3 millions de roupies. Joe Lejonga qui fait une question ministre de l'Industrie, des PME et des coopératives. Donc nous rappelons qu'à partir du 1er octobre, ça l'année-là, seuil d'enregistrement obligatoire passe de 6 millions à 3 millions de roupies de chiffre d'affaires annuel, mesure qui fait annoncée par Premier ministre et ministre des Finances. Joe Jolie Jonga qui fait nous les gagne une précision de la part d'Adil Amiamia, cette obligation à une entreprise qui fait un chiffre d'affaires taxable supérieur à 3 millions de roupies pour enregistrer pour la TVA. D'abord, donc, leader de l'opposition, fin nous les connaît, si fin fait une analyse, l'impact de ça, l'annonce-là, le secteur petite et moyenne entreprise qui ban recette fiscale qui peut atteindre et combien l'entreprise ainsi que ban type business qui est concerné par sa nouvelle obligation là. Les fin ou les aussi connaît si gouvernement fin gagne ban consultation et ban réunion avec ban stakeholders, ban parties prenantes dans le secteur avant et après présentation budget. D'abord, Adil Amiamia fin commence par faire le procès de l'ancien régime. Il parle de dilapidation de fonds, il dit qu'il pas capable continuer avec sa qualité irresponsabilité fiscale là. L'idée priorité c'est réduire déficit budgétaire entre autres pour éviter un downgrade par Moody's et l'idée qui finit faire une analyse là ban PME qui concernait ban entreprise donc ban vendeur ban du monde comme ban vendeur légumes ban marchand poisson ban marchand fruits ban boucher zut pas pour soumettre à sa ban mesure là les fin revient un peu l'avantage qui ban SMI capable gagner quand je enregistré. Les fins de détails techniques, Patrick Hilbert, quelques chiffres aussi concernant recettes fiscales qui a attendu 1,9 milliard de roupies. Il y a aussi qui plus qui 8400 business qui pas qualifié pour sa seuil là, fin déjà enregistré.
Donc une PNQ très technique, Priscilla, donc beaucoup de chiffres, beaucoup de détails. Donc à la question si finira consultation avec les PME, donc les FINDI qui voilà le Junior Minister of Finance a eu des consultations avec les différents types de PME avant le budget, mais seulement cette question de la taxe n'a pas été discutée avec eux. On a dit la meilleure FINDI que c'est pas l'usage de discuter de ce genre de choses là avant la présentation du budget. Les FINDI qui personnellement fait une longue discussion avec une PME, ils restent ouverts à une suggestion et qu'ils travaillent avec la MRA, Mauritius Revenue Authority, pour trouver des moyens pour faciliter tout ce processus de mise en place de cette mesure budgétaire.
Oui, alors finina également, Patrick Hilbert, question supplémentaire de Jolie Jonga, notamment l'envie connaît si sa mesure-là pas pour un burden, l'idée pour une petite et moyenne entreprise. Adil Amemia fin répéter comment on fait une qui aimerait pour aider, pour simplifier la procédure. Et Jolie Jonga, autre question, c'est est-ce qu'il prenait l'effet domino l'urban consommateur? Également, question supplémentaire d'Adrien Duval, est-ce qu'il propriétaire de snack pour exempter.
Donc Adil Amia fin répond qu'il est d'accord qu'effectivement c'était un issue la mise en place de toute cette nouvelle mesure. Il fin dire qu'il faut prendre un special PME desk à la MRA pour aider les PME concernés, donc ceux qui tombent dans ce nouveau threshold, que la MRA va publier des brochures, des leaflets, qu'il y aura un simplified process en place pour les business qui ont des revenus entre 3 et 6 millions. Donc, ils n'ont pas besoin de faire un monthly tax return, mais ils pourront le faire quarterly, donc chaque trimestre. S'il y a un effet domino sur l'inflation, donc Adil Amia fin dire que ce n'est pas nécessairement vrai. Il fin dire que les PME sont capables de récupérer la VAT sur les entrants, sur les capital goods. Jolie Jonga aussi fin poser une question, Priscilla, sur le workforce, sur la main-d'œuvre. Donc, il peut dire que voilà, les PME, ce sont les principaux donneurs d'emploi, donc 50%, plus de 50% des ressources humaines à Maurice sont employées dans les PME. Donc, à dire la MIMA, fin dire qu'il non, il pas penser que ça va affecter l'emploi parce qu'il y a une PME qui tombent sur ce nouveau threshold pour bénéficier de beaucoup de facilité quand ils sont enregistrés avec SMI Mauritius. Donc, SMI Mauritius peut offrir beaucoup de facilité pour permettre aux autres de continuer leurs activités.
Alors là, en ce moment, Patrick, le Premier ministre peut faire un statement à l'Assemblée nationale. On est capable de suivre ça en ce moment même dans nos pages Facebook défimedia.info. Sinon, 2 projets de loi également à l'agenda aujourd'hui, Patrick, c'est le Revenue Tribunal Bill ainsi que le Gambling Regulatory Authority Amendment Bill.
Oui, effectivement. Donc la Gambling Regulatory Authority Amendment Bill est Revenue Tribunal Bill pour débattu et adopté normalement aujourd'hui. Donc le Gambling Regulatory Authority Amendment Bill, c'est dans le contexte de la reprise des courses hippiques, le 26 juillet, qui est dans sa texte de loi là. Donc il vise une réforme en profondeur du système de régulation des courses hippiques à travers une restructuration complète de la Gambling Regulatory Authority, donc pour un changement majeur, donc création de 7 divisions spécialisées, dont une dédiée à l'intégrité des courses, la Horse Racing Integrity Division. Donc il est pour charger d'assurer que une compétition hippique se déroule dans un climat de transparence, sans corruption ni manipulation. Après, il y a 6 autres nouvelles divisions, donc notamment l'Administrative Procurement Finance Human Resources Division, Licensing Division, Gambling Inspectorate and Enforcement Division, entre autres. Et puis l'autre texte de loi, c'est un texte technique, le Revenue Tribunal Bill, donc c'est un projet de loi qui est destiné à remplacer le système actuel de l'Assessment Review Committee par une nouvelle instance, c'est-à-dire le Revenue Tribunal.
Voilà donc pour le compte-rendu de cette PNQ, comment nous peut dire là, le Premier ministre fait un statement actuellement à l'Assemblée nationale, ou capable de suivre ça en direct sur nos pages Facebook défimedia.info. Merci Patrick Hilbert.
Merci à vous.
Voilà, donc vous êtes capable de suivre de larges extraits de cette PNQ dans le journal de 16h30. Également, cette déclaration du Premier ministre sur la pension. Merci et à bientôt.